ITF devotes much of its time and attention to developing short-term productivity and efficiency improvement and in-company apprenticeship training programs.
We have two types of skills training programs. We have scheduled training programs, that is programs that have been timed to take place at a particular time for a particular duration. And we also have unscheduled training programs which take place at, as the need arises, that is when employers request for them. And ITF also is also involved in partnering with some other corporate bodies, in carrying out this technical and vocational skills training.
ITF has also been involved with capacity building through micro, small and medium enterprises development. It therefore reviews its training packages periodically to update and make them relevant to the needs of employers in commerce and industry. The reimbursement of training expenses of up to 60% of employers' training contributions is an incentive which the fund uses to realize its overall objective of encouraging skills acquisition and training consciousness among employers. 208 training reimbursement claims were processed in the year 2008, and the sum of 1,300 million naira paid to qualified employers.
Over the years, ITF has been doing that, and ITF has encouraged these employers to claim. For instance, in 2006, over 1 billion was paid out to employers to offset part of their training expenses. In 2007, the figure was about 1.2 billion, and in 2008, the figure was about 1.3. So there's a progressive increase in the amount of reimbursement given to employers.
They make this reimbursement yearly. We have been getting our yearly reimbursement from them, of course, after all the necessary approvals and paperwork.
The Students' Industrial Work Experience Scheme was conceived in 1974 by ITF to bridge the gap between theory and practice of education among students of universities, polytechnics and colleges of education.
If you look at the growth of the scheme, with just 11 institutions in the year 1974, the number now has increased to over 204 institutions that are participating. The same thing with the number of students. We had just 784 at the inception in 1974. The student population now is over 210,000 that participate in CWES.
My industrial attachment over here has been beneficial to me because while in school, I only learned the theory aspect, but over here I've come to do it practically.
Things like gram staining, where it's only the lecturer that gets to do it himself. Here we did ourselves catalyst tests and other differential chemical tests that will help us identify different classes of organisms into their different categorical families.
Development of its personnel is of great importance for ITF to effectively carry out its responsibilities. Staff are given approval to attend long-term and short-term training programs at various institutions of learning across the country and abroad. These are in addition to the various in-house proficiency programs organized by the ITF Center for Excellence and other departments. ITF has a number of publications to provide needed information for use by ITF and its numerous stakeholders.
There is hardly anybody in the Industrial Training Fund that has not in one way or the other been trained since I took over as the Director General of the Industrial Training Fund.
In its efforts to meet present and future challenges, the ITF entered into collaboration with organizations like NigerDoc, Shell and LNG, PTDF, MDGs, ETF, Crown Agents and World Bank, and also with countries like Brazil, China and Singapore for internal capacity building, funding and establishment of skill centers.
As part of our efforts to set up a model skills training center in Abuja, been collaborating with the Institute of Technical Education of Singapore. This institute, is one of the leaders in TVET. And so they have agreed to help us, establish a state-of-the-art model skills center in Abuja.
The rebranding philosophy would also engender innovations and enable us break new grounds and bring about a change, for the old face to give way to the new face. So that is change, and it will sharpen the image of the ITF before the public domain, and it is also all about what we can do now differently from what we used to do.
Industrial Training Fund has taken a giant stride towards rebranding and repositioning to turn it into a leading human capital development institution in Africa and beyond. As a deliberate strategy, the ITF articulated a 10-year development blueprint, which is anchored on the policy directives and objectives of the public sector reforms, Millennium Development Goals, and the National Economic Empowerment and Development Strategy. There are tremendous opportunities for ITF to leverage human capital development in emerging areas like information and communications technology (ICT), poverty alleviation and youth empowerment, skills development through the establishment of more training centers, oil and gas, solid minerals, health, safety and environment. From 2003 to date, the ITF has conducted 3 management retreats and also subjected itself to critical performance analysis aimed at, amongst other things, determining areas that require improvement.
We looked at our programs very, very objectively, and together we embarked on trying to get the best trained development officers from all over the country, and we make sure that they are busy all the time. And that is why we run one training program or the other in the country every day. The ITF should now be in a position to produce practically, to invent, as it were. And in the ITF, we have said this several times, there are very many ways of having our own products.
With enhanced collaborations and networking with other national and international agencies, and with the plans put in place to establish 15 skills centers across this country, I would unequivocally say, with every sense of responsibility, that the ITF is achieving its mandate.
The Industrial Training Fund has in the past 38 years successfully carried out its programs and activities in accordance with its statutory mandate. It is hoped that the ITF will receive increased funding from government to enhance its capacity to provide industrial human resource intervention, particularly in the areas of industrial skills training and CEWES.
For 2008, based on the number of students that are participating, we required over 2.9 billion to pay student allowances. Unfortunately, this money is no longer there. And you see, on a daily basis, students are agitating here and there, and unfortunately, government has not released an appropriate amount to take care of CEWES.
ITF management is reducing the bottlenecks and paperwork involved in the processing of reimbursements.
We collaborated and we've come up with a computerization system that will record subsequent transactions between the ITF and the employers of labor to capture data electronically. They don't have to come in here physically. We don't have to deal with volumes of paperwork anymore.
ITF's expanding research portfolio places it at the heart of Nigeria's economic and social development.
Indonesia, at the federal level, they have about 156 industrial skills training centers. In Brazil, over 700. And in Nigeria, what we have is a pittance. So we wish we had money. If we have money, we'll be able to do as our counterparts, elsewhere, have done.
If one of the things that make a nation great and prosperous is busy workshops, then ITF is ready to make the good people of Nigeria a truly great nation.